Bitcoin is trying to break above the previous swing high here from June and is trying to break into this resistance zone. This is the zone between 66.2K and 76.6K I highlighted many weeks ago in my Q3 update as first target area and first resistance area to watch. For now, this is all playing out. I mean, to be honest, the move to the upside from the low, from the 1st of July low, looks pretty impulsive. So could the bear market already be complete? You find it everywhere on social media, calls for a small bear market, or maybe the bull market never finished. You can find it, it's getting more popular, right? I do not see enough evidence for it yet, but I want to talk to you about what that would mean and what is the structure I need to see to confirm that the bear market is over. This is a very clear signal I'm watching very closely with all of you. I mean, we're tracking Bitcoin here every single day. So I recommend that you subscribe if you haven't done so, and let's get into this. So first of all, the main thesis hasn't changed, right? Because this rally that's unfolding right now, and some people say this isn't even a rally. Well, I don't know. Bitcoin moved up, I think, nearly 15% now from the July low, which is pretty much in line with the average for a July in a bear market. In July, as often said over recent weeks, and already in June, in July very often, seasonality is favorable for the crypto sector, specifically Bitcoin likes July, right? It's the single most bullish month in a bear market for Bitcoin. And so it's not a surprise that we see here within favorable seasonality and some positive news around the Clarity Act that we see a rally. And so people asked me in recent weeks, the Clarity Act, could that do something with Bitcoin? And I always said, well, keep an eye on our MCO news channel, and because that gives you all the ideas around Clarity Act, news, crypto, and so on. What we do here is just look at market structure. And of course, you can always get news, and the news element that's favorable might act as a catalyst for something that was supposed to happen anyway, like this corrective rally into our resistance area. Bitcoin is now trying to break into that resistance area. We'll also take a look at the microstructure in a minute, but look, even though it looks potentially impulsive, it still is a three-wave move up. Now, before we go to the smaller time frame, a couple of things. First of all, there are many institutional traders that are betting on Bitcoin getting to 72K end of July. Again, that's also a news article on MCO News. Then, this is the 61.8 retracement, which I highlighted as important resistance. This is where the trend line is. This is also where the 200-day moving average is. So there's a lot happening in the area around 72K. And these levels, they can often act as magnets. So I would not be surprised if Bitcoin pushes further into the resistance area. Actually, the smaller time frame chart suggests that. But please note that until the market breaks above resistance in 5 waves, this can be classed as a so-called corrective rally in a wave 2. And so even though I showed it many times before, I think it's worth showing what I would need to see to confirm that the bear market is over. Many of you have asked for that. Well, for now, you cannot distinguish scenarios in which the bear market is over already and we get another low because we haven't even broken resistance. And we don't have the pattern we want to see. I always remind you, we need 2 things. We need structure and levels, which means we want to see a break above this resistance area, 76.6 to 77K needs to be broken. And we need to see not only 3 waves, but 5. That would be the very first confirmation that a meaningful low is in. We would call that a wave 1. The second confirmation would be a wave 2, a corrective pullback. There will be a support area then, which we can only define when we get 5 waves up. Then we actually have a setup. A setup is not a guarantee. It just gives you a clear, pathway for higher prices based on certain conditions that people can trade with. Then there will be an invalidation point. That's the beauty of Elliott Wave. You have very clear invalidation points, which would be the June low. Either way, it would be the June low. Yeah. So if anybody wants to bet on that idea that the bear market is over, a reasonable level for invalidation would be the June low already now. But we would need more structure to confirm it, of course. That's 5 waves up, 3 waves down. And the idea would be that the 3-wave move down afterwards should take us into the current price region anyway, okay? So there's normally no need to rush, but we all know that when Bitcoin actually rallies, it can rally quickly. So whether you decide to buy already or not really depends on your personal portfolio. And that is nothing that I can tell you. I'm not allowed to, but also think about it. If someone already owns, let's say, a significant BTC position, that person might not want to buy yet. That the person might not have any urgency in buying, because if the market goes up anyway, that person would profit and would not feel FOMO. But if someone wants to get into the crypto sector, has no exposure at all, it might not be the worst time for the first position. But whether it's the right thing for you depends on your risk profile and portfolio plan and trading plan, essentially. Okay, that's personal. But that should give you a really good idea what I need to see to confirm that the bear market is over. For now, this is only something I'm, of course, watching for. Nothing I can call really high probability until we see the first 5-wave move up. And then when we get the corrective pullback, we have a so-called setup. Until then, and it's very easy to see, this is a downtrend. We still even remain below the very first trend line. We hold below very many, a lot of technical levels. And so the pressure remains down. Any changes, of course, you will hear them here first. And by the way, for those of you who want to get more updates on Bitcoin, feel free to follow us on X. Sometimes there are more updates than here on YouTube, often sooner, and sometimes even exclusive videos. Like today, I uploaded a Bitcoin video already earlier today, so you can check that out here. It's the More Crypto Online channel. Make sure that you only follow the one with the golden check mark. And here you get exclusive videos. You can ask questions. There's a lot there that you won't find on YouTube. Thanks so much. So, and this is the smaller time frame chart. And I mean, we don't really have any surprising developments here. What you see highlighted here in red, these are the structural support lines that we defined already in the last few updates. That means it's just a previous swing low, which is relevant to keep the local uptrend intact, because an uptrend is characterized by higher highs and higher lows. And sometimes when the structure is developed far enough, we can also add Fibonacci support levels. And I did that already. So for those of you who are new, the idea was we get that rally in July, potentially towards 69 to 72K. I'm already reading claims that the bear market is over. So people are already getting a little bit bullish. And they are getting more bullish, in my opinion, than after the February low. So they get more bullish sooner, you could say. And that is, I think, because it gets more and more realistic that the bear market completes, right? The closer we get to the end of the bear market, the more calls there will be that the bear is over. I mean, again, there are people who said, well, the bear market is over and now we have a small rally, and they say, I told you so. Look, my view is we expected a rally, absolutely. Told you so, just joking. But yeah, we expected a rally, but it is too early to confirm that this is a bear market low. My view at this stage is still for lower prices as per the previous updates, all right? But I'm always open to the idea that something different is developing. You know, I'm constantly challenging my interpretation of the chart. Otherwise, I wouldn't need to check the chart every day with you guys here. So we do that because we want to see, are we still on track? What are the parameters that keep the current move intact? And we have very clear resistances to watch. And then we want to see, well, do we even get some signals that maybe something different is unfolding? Because that's really what it's about. That's why we do the work. Not because we like to draw Elliott waves or because we like to draw colorful boxes onto the chart. No, because we want to understand what is a trend. Is it a counter trend move? Is it a real trending move? what are support and resistances, because these are the levels that are really actually, or that's the information that's really actionable, yeah, and that traders can use. Now, we saw, and this is why Elliott Wave is so powerful, we saw a 5-wave move up after the low in July, 1st of July low. So remember, seasonalities told us we will likely go higher, because in July, in a bear market year, Bitcoin is normally bullish. But I wouldn't trust seasonalities blindly, but Elliott waves aligned. So we had a 5-wave move up, 3 waves down. That's a bullish signal. Then we had another 5 up, 3 down move, another 5 up, 3 down move, another 5 up, 3 down move. We had enough 1-2 setups here. Yeah, we had in fact so many that nobody can say, well, the pullback was weak, I didn't find an entry. So if you wanted to trade this and you didn't, it's your fault, because there were several setups. In fact, I can't remember when I have seen the last time so many 1-2 setups in a row on the Bitcoin chart with very clear invalidation levels. Nothing got invalidated. So what can I say? Now we get the breakout. Of course, nothing is carved in stone, but this structure gives us certain projections that point, I would say, at least to 69K, probably rather 72K. But in the very short term, if we zoom in here a little bit, then you can see that we're in this internal 3rd wave to the upside. And in yesterday's update, I claimed that, or 2 days ago, that the first ideal target for this internal 3rd wave is the 67.2K level. Now, we got to 66.9K, very close. I would still prefer maybe one more high here in this 3rd wave. But ultimately, the local uptrend can stay intact as long as this micro support zone is holding between 65,339 and 66,180. And so I think basically it's unfolding largely as expected, or exactly as expected, you could say. Of course, I can't predict every single move on the 15-minute chart or 30-minute chart. I'm not trying to, but I try to give you the most probable pathways as well as the key parameters that need to hold to keep this short-term move to the upside alive. And as I said, the first key zone to watch from a support point of view is between 65,340 and 66,180. And the 69 to 72K area remains an ideal target. That really hasn't changed. Looking at the bigger picture, because just want to make it crystal clear, at the moment we do not have enough evidence to suggest that a bear market is complete. I'm always open to it. I made many videos in which I showed you what needs to happen for me to turn bullish. I did that again in this update. Feel free to watch it again if you missed it. But yeah, overall, I think there is an area of interest in the area between 69 to 72K from a resistance point of view. So I'll keep you updated, and please note, if we see any 5-wave decline from the resistance area, this might represent the start of a 3rd wave decline. So in the coming weeks, once this rally is over, possibly early August, the next objective for the bears will be to drive the price below 57.9K, the July low, and then to reach the mid 40K region next. I'll of course keep you updated. Hope it was helpful. If you're interested in additional updates, member videos, and much more, feel free to check out our membership. As a gold member, you can also join Discord, where you can get access to our terminal with more than 70 indicators. You get access to Discord and can ask questions. You can connect to the community, thousands of traders. In fact, this is one of the few still growing communities in a bear market. You can also check out our TradingView live charts and get access to all my intraday updates. Thanks so much. I wish you a great day. Bye-bye.